Season of giving officially underway. We're examining a controversial question facing customers at cash registers these days. Would you like to leave a tip? Well, many Americans think that tipping has gotten out of control. Mark Strassman shows us what happens to our brains when tipping feels like an obligation.
It's like in your face, kind of, oh, hey, how much are you gonna tip?
In our 2024 service economy,
18%, 20%, 25, 30%.
We've reached a tipping point. Discretionary kindness or relentless obligation.
The craziest place I was ever asked for a tip, I would say, was a gas station.
If you're thinking practically everybody has their hand out these days, you've got company. A recent poll says 72% of people say tipping is expected in more places than just 5 years ago.
Dry cleaners, hardware stores, the electrician. We're losing the natural feelings we tap when we tip. Brain scans prove it.
And that moment of good feeling, is that reflected in any particular color?
In the red, and that's where you're starting to get this feeling of warmth and community and this feeling that I've done something good.
Neurologist Paul Wright told us with tipping, the brain releases feel-good neurotransmitters like dopamine and oxytocin.
Tipping is very similar to when you're doing a good deed.
Are we doing it for them or are we doing it for ourselves?
That's a very good question because, quite frankly, many people actually do it for themselves and not just for the recipient.
But in a recent survey, 2/3 of Americans now have a negative view of tipping. There's all that pressure, the guilt trip tip.
Do I feel more obligated to tip when someone is looking at me with their big doe eyes? Probably.
Others tip to right a wrong, wage inequality.
People should be paid a living wage. People shouldn't have to be dependent on the tipping system.
Cut calamari.
In Poughkeepsie, New York, restaurateur Russell Beck tried that.
You should pay your people what they're worth.
His No Tipping Please wine bar paid employees up to $30 an hour. But in wine, there is hard truth.
Our accountant came to us and they said, listen, you're either closing or you're changing your pay model. There's really no in between.
Was it naive to think it could work?
I think it was.
Now with tips, both the bar and its employees have made more money. Beck personally tips big, but he also draws the line.
I ordered something online and I was asked if I wanted to tip the people that were packaging the box. And I was like, excuse me? Yeah.
That said, if you liked this story, feel free to, for Eye on America, Mark Strassman in Poughkeepsie, New York.